Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Tai Gaura Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gauranga ki jai, Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhananta Dev ki jai, Srinivas Govinda ki jai, Krishna Balram ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 15. Parashurama, the Lord's warrior incarnation. Text 26. Havirdhanim Risher Darpan Naran Hartum Achodayat Techa Mahishmatim Ninyuhu Savatsam Krandatim Balat. Havirdhanim Risher Darpan Naran Hartum Achodayat Techa Mahishmatim Ninyuhu Savatsam Krandatim Balat. Havirdhanim Risher Darpan Naran Hartum Achodayat te cha mahishmatim ninyuhu savatsam krandatim balat havirdhanim risher darpan naran hartum achodaya te cha mahishmatim ninyuhu savatsam krandatim balat havirdhanim risher darpan naran hartum achodaya te cha mahishmatim ninyuhu savatsam krandatim balat havirdhanim the Kamadhenu Rishehe of the great sage Jamadagni Darpat because of his being puffed up with material power Naran all his men soldiers Hartum to steal or take away Achodayat encouraged Te the men of Kartaviryarjuna Cha also Mahishmatim to the capital of Kartaviryarjuna Ninyuhu brought Savatsam with the calf Krandatim crying Balat because of being taken away by force. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Being puffed up by material power, Kartavirya Arjuna encouraged his men to steal Jamadagni's Kamadhenu. Thus the men forcibly took away the crying Kamadhenu along with her calf to Mahishmati, Kartavirya Arjuna's capital. Please repeat. Being puffed up by material nature, material power, Kartavirya Arjuna encouraged his men to steal Jamadagni's Kamadhenu. Thus the men forcibly took away the crying Kamadhenu along with her calf to Mahishmati, Kartavirya Arjuna's capital. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Havirdhanim is significant in this verse. Havirdhanim refers to a cow required for supplying havis or ghee for the performance of ritualistic ceremonies in sacrifices. In human life, one should be trained to perform yagnas. As we are informed in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yagnardhat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. If we do not perform yagna, we shall simply work very hard for sense gratification like dogs and hogs. This is not civilization. A human being should be trained to perform yagna. Yagnat bhavanti parjanya. If yagnas are regularly performed, there will be proper rain from the sky, and when there is regular rainfall, the land will be fertile and suitable for producing all the necessities of life. Yagna therefore is essential. For performing yagna, clarified butter is essential. And for clarified butter, cow protection is essential. Therefore, if we neglect the Vedic way of civilization, we shall certainly suffer. So-called scholars and philosophers do not know the secret of success in life, and therefore they suffer in the hands of Prakriti, nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashaha. Nonetheless, although they are forced to suffer, they think they are advancing in civilization. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore meant to revive a mode of civilization in which everyone will be happy. This is the motive of our Krishna consciousness movement. Yagne sukhena bhavantu. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So this verse comes in the context of this Kartavirya Arjuna visiting the ashram of Vyasadeva, Jamadagni. So, and Jamadagni gives him a very warm reception, makes wonderful offerings, and the king becomes very pleased. All because of one cow called Kamadhenu. And then this king becomes envious and becomes puffed up by his material power. He has got so much of power. He's got 1,000 arms by which he could stop the flow of a river or defeat great kings like Ravana. So he's got puffed up and he orders his men to take away that Kamadhenu. And that's where this the verse comes. The Kamadhenu and the calf are crying. So Havirdhanim, Risher Havirdhanim. Risher Havirdhanim means the sages Havirdhanim. Havirdhanim means what? Havirdhanim means cow, the one which gives havi, ghee. So Risher Havirdhanim means the sages cow, which can give havi, meant for the ghee. So Risher Havirdhanim, Darpat, because of being puffed up by Darpa. Darpa means pride. Dambho Darpo Abhimanascha. So he's got puffed up by pride. This Kartavirya Arjuna. Darpat, because of his puffed up nature. What did he do? He ordered, he encouraged Achodayat. Whom did he encourage? Naran, his soldiers. What did he encourage them to do? Hartum, to steal this Kamadhenu and the calf. And they also followed. Techa, they followed the order of his master, their master, and they brought them to their kingdom called Mahishmati. Mahishmatim Ninyuhu. They brought this cow and calf to Mahishmatim. Savatsan, along with the calf and the cow. Balat, by force, and because of which they were Krandatim, crying. Cow and the calf, they were crying. So here Prabhupada mentions this Havirdhanim refers to a cow required for supplying havis or ghee for the performance of ritualistic ceremonies in sacrifices. In human life, one should be trained to perform yagnas. So we know in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Krishna talks about performance of yagna and a cycle of yagna. Anyone remembers how the living entities subsist on food grains? Annad bhavanti bhutani. So there is living entities subsist on food grains. If you draw a circle, living entities, food grains. And food grains come from Parjanya Anna Sambhavaha. Rain, Parjanya comes, Anna, subsisted by living entities. So Parjanya comes from what? Yagnad Bhavati Parjanyo. And Yagna is produced from Yagnaha Karma Samudbhavaha. And then the next verse says, where is karma prescribed? Karma Brahmodbhavam. From Brahma means the Vedic literature. karma is produced or the prescribed duties are mentioned. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. Brahma akshara samudbhavam. Brahma akshara samudbhavam. From Krishna, or the Supreme Lord's breathing produced Brahma. Tasmat sarvagatam Brahma nityam yagne pratishthitam. So this is a cycle. So the living entities, food grains, rain, yagna, prescribed duty, Vedas, the Supreme Lord. And how is the connection between the Supreme Lord and the living entities? From Supreme Lord comes the living entities. So they say that evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayaha aghayurindriya ramo mogham parthasa jivati. So this is called pravartitam chakram, the cycle of sacrifice. Why this yagna is needed, Prabhupada mentions very nicely in that place, 3rd chapter, I think 16th verse. So there Prabhupada mentions that the arrangements the prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts, but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord. See? Everything that exists for our happiness here is not made by us, whether it is air or water or light, natural amenities, anything that we make from matter, everything that is pre-arranged. So the prosperity is not based on our efforts. It's because of the Supreme Lord's arrangement, the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, yagnas are prescribed. Actually, we say that in this age, what is the yagna we prescribe? Sankirtana yagna. Yagnaihi sankirtana prayair yajantihi sumedasaha. So that will take place of all these kinds of other yagnas. So I was recently reading from this Vritrasura's pastime in Bhagavatam. So Vritrasura, we know, is a devotee. Chitraketu gets cursed to become this demon, and he is destined to die in the hands of Indra. Finally they come to the battle clash and they're ready to fight, and Vritrasura is preaching to him. The demon is preaching to him, and there in one of these verses he says like this, very interesting point, very striking actually. He says here 6.11.23 Traivargikaya savigatamasmat patirvidhatte purushasya shakra tatonumeyo bhagavat prasado yodurlabho akinchana gocharonyaihi. He says, our Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, forbids his devotees. He forbids his devotees to do something. What is that? Traivargika ayasa. Ayasa means what? To become tired. So the Lord forbids his devotees to do this Traivargika. What is that? Religion, economic development and sense gratification. The Supreme Lord forbids his devotees to endeavor uselessly for religion, economic development and sense gratification. Or dharma, artha, kama. Of course, moksha for us is going back to Godhead, not merging into his effulgence. So this Trivarga is forbidden by the Lord. And then he says, O Indra, one can thus infer how kind the Lord is. Such mercy is obtainable only by unalloyed devotees, not by persons who aspire for material gains. That means he is indirectly saying, Indra, you are aspiring for material gains. So the Supreme Lord's highest mercy is not obtainable to you. And see the purport, Prabhupada, how nicely he puts it. See, there are 4 objectives of human life that we know. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. People generally aspire for these things. But a devotee has no other desire than to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, both in this life and in the next. Not even liberation. So, see how Prabhupada says, how nicely he puts it. The special mercy for the unalloyed devotee is that the Lord saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of religion, economic development, and sense gratification. So, what is the special mercy of the Lord? He saves the devotees from, he saves him from hard labor to achieve the results of dharma, artha, kama. So, the real mercy is only that. Of course, if one wants such benefits, say if you take to devotional service, you want benefit of good money, good life, sense gratification, known to be a famous man, religious man, if you want all these things. So what Prabhupada says, of course, if one wants such benefits, the Lord certainly awards them. Indra, for example, although a devotee, was not much interested in release from material bondage. Instead, he desired sense gratification and a high standard of material happiness in the heavenly planets. Vrutrasura, however, being an unalloyed devotee, aspired only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord arranged for him to go back to Godhead after his bodily bondage was destroyed by Indra. Vrutrasura requested Indra to release his thunderbolt against him as soon as possible so that both he and Indra would benefit according to their proportionate advancement in devotional service. See how nicely Prabhupada puts. According to their proportionate advancement in devotional service, they are getting benefited. Indra wanted material happiness, so he would be granted that by releasing the thunderbolt and by killing Vrutrasura. Vrutrasura wants to go back to Godhead. He will be granted that. He doesn't have to undergo the hard labor. The Lord saves the devotees from the hard labor of dharma, artha, kama. So this Krishna consciousness movement is so sublime that just by engaging in the service of the Lord, we don't have to undergo any of these things. Everything is provided automatically by the devotee. Just like Prabhupada also gives this example. If this pure devotional service is like a queen, and queen automatically comes with all her maids. So if you have the queen, automatically everything else comes with it. The benefits of dharma, artha, kama, everything is automatically granted. Sometimes this yagna, we call it sacrifice, but the other way to also look at it is as gratitude. Gratitude to the Supreme Lord. So this rich man was in his house, looking out the window, and there was a poor man. And some realization came. He said to himself, "Thank God I am not poor." And the camera zoomed into the poor man. And the poor man was looking at some madman walking on the street. And some realization came. He said to himself, "Thank God I am not mad." And the realization also came to the madman when he saw somebody being taken in an ambulance. "Thank God I am not sick." And the next, zoom into the sick man. He was taken to the hospital, and next to him was somebody being carried after being dead. And he said to himself, "Thank God I am not dead." And now the camera zoomed into the dead man. Can the dead man say anything? Only the living man can say thank God. The dead man cannot say thank God. So while it lasts, at least the gratitude should be there, that we should say thank. Yajna is actually thanking God. But people, unfortunately, they cannot understand this concept of gratitude. Like when we talk about having gratitude to God, performing yajna, all these things. I had this experience. I was in the office. So we were in a meeting and there was a casual chat before the official meeting started, and somebody said, oh, this guy goes to the temple and he's very religious. And so one Indian person, she came and exclaimed, oh, you have to grow up. You have to grow up. You're still stuck in those old times. So enjoy and be happy. What is this illogical things of all this kind of things? Like recently I got a letter from some toll bridge. Like if you pass a bridge without paying the toll, you'll be getting a letter, right? So I got the letter. And I was surprised, when did I always have this fast track, the tag and all that. So I checked with Priya Sakhi also. She said, I don't know who took our car. And the date was Saturday, some 11:45 p.m. or something. Saturday 11:45, when did we go towards that San Francisco side? And I was wondering, what is this letter? She said, why do you worry? Pay that $7 and be done with it. So I was about to pay also. But then something didn't allow me to pay. So I was trying to go into different places on the website, and I clicked a link where it actually showed the image of the car and the license plate. But actually something flashed in my mind. I looked closely at the license plate. So mine is 9EIH667. So, but the car front portion didn't look like, even though it's a very black and white picture, I cannot make out, but I could make out it's not my car. So then figured out, instead of T, they have sent the bill for I. EIH, 9EIH667, they looked it up, my name came up and they sent the letter, you pay $7. And the guy is happy, enjoying. 9ETH667 is enjoying. He's going on everywhere without the tag. And he's enjoying. If I did not act, I could have continued to pay the tag without figuring out why, and would have had to, fought with them. They wouldn't believe me, because after all, that's the number plate. And then I had to take a picture of my car. I highlighted the portion of the license plate, the shape of the front, and I compared it with the actual photo, and then sent them a message saying, there is a contest citation kind of thing. So in a few days they came back, hey, sorry for this mistake. So we'll correct this in the system. And then they resolved it. So you may enjoy, the point is, this person may think he's getting away, he's not paying the tag, he's enjoying life. But how long will it last? Eventually he has to catch up. So you're enjoying life without paying the tax. How long will it last? Eventually you'll have to, just like a crime committed, he's thinking he'll not be caught, but eventually you'll be caught and you'll be punished. Like people sometimes say, oh, what is the meaning of like Havir Dhanim? You're offering ghee. You can use ghee for giving to people. Why put in some fire uselessly? Chant some mantras. What is the use of that? Do some learning. So many technologies. Do some good for people. Like some time ago, I was in a flight, and this person suddenly, he fell in the flight, and people were all chaotic, and they were shouting. The air hostess was shouting, and there were an announcement, is there any doctor in the flight? And luckily there was a doctor. And so the doctor came and treated, and everybody was happy, clapped, oh, the doctor saved. So people might say, so if you are becoming a doctor or engineer or somebody useful in the society, you can change people's lives. So what is the use of uselessly chanting these mantras and wasting valuable ghee? So there was a group of people, very adventurous people. They want to go and find out some treasure they believe is hidden in some place, in some part of the ocean, some island somewhere. So they set out on this adventurous trip. on a ship, but because of bad luck, the weather was not good and the ship capsized. And they all were about to drown, but somehow the waves carried them ashore and they ended up in one place, some island, nobody knows what it is. And there's nobody, it's abandoned island, nobody is there, nobody lives there, and they are lost. The more they live there, the more they are going to doom to death. And so people are all crying and shouting, and there are wild animals. They could hear these shouts and cries of these wild animals. And some of them are helping others to get some shelter. There are some contractors, how to put around pieces of wood and make some shelter. And there are doctors, somebody got hurt, they were helping. But there was this man who appeared completely unaware of anything, ignorant. He's not skillful at anything. And these people are looking at him, he's going somewhere and he's just collecting some pieces here and there, and he's enjoying according to his own way. And these people are all wondering we're all trying to get out to this island and help each other, and what this guy is doing. And after a few days, somehow they struggled, and one boat comes to pick them up. And they all get in and they are all happy, and they are all thanking each other, but they were all abusing this guy. Except this guy, everybody cooperated, and because of which we survived and got into this boat. But this boatman came and said, no, because of this guy only you all survived. And then, what do you mean, because of him we all survived? No, actually, he was the one who signaled to us. He's got a mirror, and he was shining that reflection from the sun into our faces, so we could see that somebody got stuck in that island. So all the while he was doing was collecting some pieces of glass that got washed ashore, putting them together, shining it, making it nicely shining so that it can reflect the sunlight. Even though he was appearing to be uselessly meandering along, he was doing the most useful thing, and because of which everybody got saved. And then they understood. So in this story, the analogy is, like, we all ventured out into this material world as an adventure. We were in the spiritual world. We wanted to try something in this material world. And we fell into this island of material world. And very soon, this wild creatures, the time is like the wild creatures. Death is awaiting us. And you are trying to help somebody meanwhile, social welfare, raise their standard of economic development. It is like those builders, the doctors, the social welfare workers. Temporarily they are helping, but eventually they will all die. They are going to be caught in the island. But this person who was shining this glass, who was collecting the pieces of glass, apparently doing useless things, is like chanting the Vedic mantras, cleansing our hearts, cleansing the hearts of people. And finally, because of his yagna, the Supreme Lord bestows the showers to everyone. The rain falls because of yagna, not because of the useless things that people do. Despite people's doing useless things, Krishna bestows the rainfall because of actually somebody doing yagna. But unfortunately, people cannot understand. Just like a child, Dad, I'll tell you one way to save money. What is that? Stop paying bills. You're paying all the bills and wasting our money. What do you mean? Yeah. Why do you pay bill to the water company, electrical company? You turn the tap on, water is coming. Why do you have to pay the bill? It's like that. It's like a child thinking, oh, why you're doing all useless things? Everything is available, just enjoy. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, this way of working very hard for sense gratification like hogs and dogs, this is not civilization. A human being should be trained to perform yagna. Yagnas are therefore essential. If we neglect the Vedic way of civilization, we shall certainly suffer. People think that we are all advanced in civilization, we are enjoying. Like people who come to US and earn, people in India or other part of the world, they think we are enjoying. 2 days ago, I got a news. One of my friends, we used to work very closely in our college, we used to hang out. He died in a car crash in New Jersey. Head-on collision. He was from a village. Everybody thought he's such a happy person, enjoying life. He has 2 young daughters and a housewife. See, suffering means this material world, nobody is spared. Whether you are born in US or India or whether you have a great job, real suffering is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Ultimately, it catches everyone. Ultimate reality. So the people think that we are advancing in civilization, advancing in technology, advancing in all these things. So Prabhupada says these so-called scholars and philosophers do not know the secret of success in life. And therefore they suffer in the hands of Prakriti, nature. So here Prabhupada gives a very interesting meaning of that verse, Prakrite Kriyamanani. So what does that verse? 3.27, Krishna says, Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaha Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. What it means is, in a bewildered living entity, bewildered by false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities, when in actuality it is being conducted by the modes of material nature. So Prabhupada gives a different meaning to that verse. So what is that meaning he gives? Prakritehe kriyamanani. Prakriti is giving you suffering. But ahankara vimudhatma, the foolish entity, is thinking we are enjoying. See how it is applied, that verse? Slightly different application. Prakriti is giving suffering, but in illusion we are thinking we are enjoying. So this Krishna consciousness movement therefore is meant to revive a mode of civilization in which everyone will be happy. This is the motive of our Krishna consciousness movement. In Bhagavatam also it is said, this is meant to revive or to reform the misdirected civilization of this world, to cause a revolution in the impious hearts of the world's misdirected civilization. So there was this devotee who was saying he was distributing books in a parking lot. So he approached somebody in the car. This husband is in the car, the wife went inside the mall to shop. So he caught this husband. And he was explaining, hey, these books are about yoga, meditation, all these things. And so this man was a little interested. And then let me take a look at this. He took the book and opened it and started to read. And then Prabhupada is writing, anybody who is enjoying in this world like animals, are like dogs and hogs. There is no difference between a dog and a hog and a human being if he is also enjoying a life of sense gratification without leading any purposeful life, something like that. What is this? What has this got to do with yoga, meditation? Why are we being compared to like hogs and dogs? And then he was a little intrigued. He was leading. And then Prabhupada is barely exposing everything, the pitfalls of this materialistic civilization. And then the wife comes. Hey, honey, what are you doing? Who is this man? No, that's okay. You know, he's just giving a book on, and then he silently snuck in some money for this donation. I want this book. It's just a book on meditation, don't worry. But so the man wanted the book. He was interested to read more, even though Prabhupada was barely exposing that facts. Shrunvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. Bhagavatam says this Krishna consciousness movement, this literature is to bring the, or to revive the, cure the impious hearts of the world's misdirected civilization, and it is appreciated by those who are thoroughly honest. Yet another time, another devotee, his method is a different. He would go to a library, he would open a laptop as if he was reading something. So he would have a very big bold letters, that font size is increased so that everybody walking around can see what he is reading. So he would open up some purport of Prabhupada and display it, very nice words. You know, we are all meant to enjoy unlimited happiness, but we don't know how to enjoy unlimited happiness. That's all. It won't say anything else. And then people would all come and look at it. Hey, what are you reading? People could come, hey, can you show what you're reading? What is that he's trying to say? And then he would get into a conversation, and then he would give a book. So if you actually read even a little bit, who are inquisitive, who are eager to learn and improve in their lives, Shunvanti gayanti grinanti sadhavaha means thoroughly honest men, they take to Krishna consciousness. They appreciate this honest literature, which is meant to bring tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo, our sinful, contaminated hearts, agha. It causes revolution. And that's what Prabhupada says. Krishna consciousness movement is therefore meant to revive a mode of civilization in which everyone will be happy. That is the motive of our Krishna consciousness movement. Yagne sukhena bhavantu. Stop there. Any other questions? Anybody has comments? Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So now we will have 15 minutes Kirtan and another Bhagavatam class followed by it.